I can't lie to you and say that Italy is the best team in this group trying to qualify for the World Cup because it's clearly Norway. Going level to level with Israel, what are things coming to? I'm baffled by today's match. Not the result. The result's fine. The result's appropriate. 5-4, 4-5, whatever, against Israel? First of all, why are they in a European qualifying group? That's a whole matter into itself. But come on, man. And that gets back to the point I was trying to make in the last video. Italy get Gattuso in, and it's like, yeah, we're going to fight, and we're not going to give up until we die. I'm like, okay. But you know what? Good teams, they're able to take advantage of rage because rage is when you don't think, and it's when you play or you fight with the absence of thought, really. So you approach these matches like we're gonna give it our all. But you know what that means? That means your midfield's completely empty. That means your players are shot out in the first 60 minutes and they're trying to get a hold of the match. That also means that at the highest level, you're gonna get picked apart by teams and managers who have disciplined tactics and who are actually arranged and positioned to do well. I have some question marks for the call-ups here today as well, especially in a game like this when we see how it went. Where was Ricci? Why isn't he playing? Why isn't he called up? Is he even called up? I think he is, right? You have a player who's just like Gattuso, plays for the same team in a very similar role, and he's not starting as the defensive midfielder that Italy really needed today. So if we're looking at these lineups, guys, Israel is not really a good team. I can't imagine any of these players are playing at a very high level. That they're maybe like two or three. And I look at all these names and I'm wondering, who are these guys, right? A bunch of own goals. We should look at the lineups probably right now and how they set up. And one of those guys who should be off in place for Ricci scored an own goal. I'm going to try to zoom in here. We look at, yeah, like I'm saying with Israel, I have no idea who these dudes are. Like, do they have part-time jobs? Are they full-time footballs? I have no idea. Where Gattuso is right. Let's pick it out. 4-4-2. That's fine. And how it shaped out was sometimes a 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1, whatever, on paper, with depending on where the center forward slotted back to. But we could say this is a more traditional lineup, something which I expected out of Gattuso. Di Marco, yes. Bastoni, of course. Donnarumma, yes. Mancini, yes. But I'll tell you where Mancini should be. Di Lorenzo, yes. Barella, yes. Tonali, yes. Kane, Retegui, yes. So I'm calling out Politano, Locatelli, of course, and that's not just because we're playing revisionist history here. And then the two worked against Estonia. Sure, Estonia's terrible. They're not a real threat, right? You can go and play pretty much anyway. And the quality of these players, you could put I don't know, a 5-5 formation. Italy's going to win. It doesn't matter. Mancini should not be a right center defender. He is the center of a back three or a five across. He's at the middle of it, which is where I love him to be playing. He's playing like that now for Gasperini. So when you put him in the right center back role with Bastoni, it's a little awkward. Two left-footed players. It's the first time it's being tried out against Gattuso's biggest game of his career as the Azzurri manager, and it just doesn't pay off. We see an own goal from Locatelli to start us off. I think we should go through the rundown right now. I'm just going to go to the right tab here. And we've got a couple other conversations that we're going to go over today. I'm going to put those right here in the banner. Yes, there we go. And you can see those as we go on. But speaking about this play-by-play, we start off, and I'll share this with you. 9 minutes in, there's an injury Israel has to make. Locatelli's own goal comes in the 16th. They're pegged back. Kane levels it. I thought Kane, if I had to pick a player of the match, it was Moise Kean. I thought he played great. His first shot was awesome. His second shot, maybe even better. And that's what I like. It's very cliche to say he puts his laces through the boot. A striker who really puts his foot through the ball. Yeah, obviously. But he's really good at shooting. And not just the power, but the accuracy behind those told me that maybe Kane is morphing into that next level of a player. So I was glad to see that. He's proving that he should be an Azzurri mainstay. And where would Italy be without him at this point? I don't know. You could say the same thing for Tonali. Of course, he's going to win this for the Azzurri. So let's go on to the second half here. Israel goes ahead with Dor Peretz Yeah, never heard of him. 54th minute, 2 minutes later, Moise Kean doubles it. That's that goal. And that was an assist by Retegui. And then Italy take the lead just 4 minutes after that with Politano getting a goal. It was an okay goal, good reaction. And Retegui once again um, getting the assist off that. Off goes Politano. In comes Orsolini. Yeah, Orsolini should be the starter on any right wing right now for most teams in the world, to be honest with you. Fratesi comes in for Barella. Good James Cambiaso for DiMarco. Fine, whatever. Where's Udogie? If you know, leave a comment. I'm not sure why he's not getting time or if he was called up. I don't remember. Raspadori comes in for Kane. That will prove pivotal because 3 minutes after that, he's going to make it 4, which will be a vital or necessary point for Italy to get or goal. Bastoni then has an own goal, very uncharacteristic from him. Maldini's son comes on, or you could say Maldini's grandson comes on for Tegui as Gattuso tries to shore it up and keep the lead. But then in the 89th minute, just as soon as Maldini comes on, it's a header by Dor Perez again, and it's all tied up except at the death. Tonali gets a foot on it. It was a free kick that just went a little stray across the frame of goal, and Tonali is right there to head it home. Oh my gosh. Let's instead of just complaining and talking your ear off, let's look at what that means for Italy now. And as we look at the table here, there's one thing you're going to see, which is Norway's pretty far ahead. Italy, though, have a game in hand over Israel. So even so, Italy right now are in second place, and they will face Norway, I think, one more time. And that comes, I think, in November. We could look at the schedule in a little bit. But even so, if Italy gets that game in hand, they will just be level. Well, actually, Norway would have to tie. They'll get that game in hand, and if they win, which they should against, I think the next one is against Moldova, they'll be clear ahead in second, not have to rely on goal differential, which of course could change given that Norway will be playing. So if we look at the Azzurri schedule real quick, and I'll give you the math on that as well, like the metrics of how Italy must qualify, what they must do. Estonia is the next match. That's October 11th, so 1 month away. And that's during the international break where they'll have a doubleheader with Israel. That'll be home. And then the next international break is November 13th, Moldova, with the penultimate match, that being there in Moldova. And the last one of this, which could all come down to Italy against Norway in Italy. So that's November 16th. Mark that one down in your calendars. We'll see. I don't see Norway dropping any points right now, but let's look at, I've got the metrics here. So I'm going to read you word for word from this Football Italia article. Today's match allowed Italy to catch Israel on 9 points, but with a game in hand and a superior goal difference. Italy are back in action against October 11th. We just mentioned that. And this group could be ultimately decided when Gattuso's men face Moldova on November 13th and end with a head-to-head against Norway on November 16th. So if the Nazionale win every match, as do Norway, then they'll both be on the same points, and first place will be decided on goal difference. Okay. How could that be, though? If they win every game, then they'll be on the same points? That doesn't make... Oh, maybe because Norway have... No, they've both got... If Norway win out, and the goal difference remains the same, and then Italy win, they could win the group. So only first place goes directly, but the runners-up must go through the playoffs. This is very dangerous territory. Italy cannot... It's not even imaginable that they could miss a third World Cup in a row. Oh my gosh. Like, that's unfathomable. The problem is not just that Italy doesn't give young players chances like Camarda. What's he doing out in Lecce? What a waste of time for everybody. It's also that we're seeing something going on, a reflection of... I'm sorry, I look like I just got electrocuted. We're seeing a reflection of the economy of Italy and also a change in culture. People are having less children. The population's lower. There's less money going around. Therefore, we could say there's less investment in football. And if there's less investment, there's more money at stake, which could be why less Italian youth is getting a chance. And teams think, I'm going to go with the surefire bet. I'm going to bring in a slightly older player, but someone who's more filled out, a little bit more refined from, let's say, Serbia or Croatia, or pick the litter at this point, a Scandinavian country. as we see that these countries are growing, getting much better at football with their investments, also healthy economies. So these things kind of go hand in hand. It's not just, oh, Italy doesn't give youth players a chance. Why don't they give youth players a chance? Because some of these guys are dinosaurs and archaic in thinking. Yeah, that's true too. We can't deny that. But I think it's also for the reasons that I listed. All right. We're going to go on to Roma now. If you joined us just for Italy, thank you. But if you want to listen first to some Roma stuff right now, we're going to talk about that too. Okay. Also, I just want to bring this up. Last thoughts here, Israel, Italy. Look at the momentum. That's nuts. It should not look like that. Let me pull it up. Sorry. It should not look like this at all. It should be peaks and valleys just for Italy. Stretches, maybe one or two little blips for Israel. It should not be going toe to toe. What this tells me is that there was no tactical control of this match. Not good. NG, quoting Coach Kazoulis. NG, not good. By the way, guys, Thursday I will be on Sirius XM breaking this down and breaking down the Azzurri situation and what this means for everybody. So if you are a subscriber to Sirius XM, let me know. Give me a shout out. Also, if you bought a pin from me, I'll be going to the mailbox tomorrow. So if you're getting it from Canada too, it'll take maybe a couple weeks. So you just be patient with those and hang on. So now let's look what's going on with our buddy Pellegrini, because there is some new news. I also found this pretty interesting. This was somebody saying this, the dream, the Serie A perfect. And you could see Catania in there, Palermo. I don't know about Catania. They're in a mess. Lecce Bari, the fan base from Bari, getting in there. Cagliari, hanging on. The Genoa derby, the Torino derby, Milan derby, Parma with Bologna. That's derby. I'm not sure what they call that. Fiorentina, Atalanta, Chievo. I don't think Chievo need to be in Serie A. Udinese, I guess, a representative of Trieste, but you could make the claim too, like Como should be in there if we're talking about the teams with like the biggest fan bases, though. Como's not really there, but they do have an incredible strategy ongoing for the time being. All right, let's go back to my account here because we got some good stuff. And one thing that I want to bring up is that Gasparini could be looking to try out Pellegrini as the Derun role, more of a midfielder, somebody who could crash into the box, versatile, quick passing, an outlet. The question mark is, can he hold the defensive line? People will say, well, go back to Mourinho, and he proved that he couldn't do that. I don't know, but maybe he deserves a chance there. I'm not saying he needs to be plugged in as the surefire starting 11 guy to take over from somebody who's already playing, but there's matches, I think, where he could come in and do a job. Remember that we've got Coppa Italia, Europa League coming into play. So let's see how that folds out. But I am intrigued to see what happens with this. And if Pellegrini can give it one more go and kind of rework himself. But I think this is the best role for him. I think he should have been playing this the whole time. He's not a left winger. He's not a trequartista. He is somebody who should be a little bit deeper. So I think this takes a little weight off his shoulders too. So just some comments here. It says, according to who? This was a report I read coming out of Gazzetta dello Sport. Somebody says, great news. He always performed his best, never as an attacking mid. So yeah. Mediator, you mean? Somebody said, no, I mean mediana. Somebody plays right in the middle. Box to box, you could even say. This person, Lupinus, says he didn't know how to defend properly, so I don't think it'll work. So people not too optimistic, not too hot on that idea, but a lot of people, 212 people like that post. So there is some faith, I think, in him and some hope that Pellegrini can still be an asset. So does that mean he won't be discarded or let go at the end of the season? No, I don't think it means that. But if he does good and he takes a reduced salary, perhaps there is a little bit of a future there. Also, look at this. Look at this find. I think this is going to come out of Adidas's Terraces collection. I thought that was pretty sharp. So this is the polo. You could see there. And some nice knitted stitching there. And that badge is pretty cool. Almost looks like a boutique type of clothing brand. And the Adidas pants don't match perfectly, but you could see that the stripes do. That's a pretty nice fit. Arsenal also has a nice fit from the same Terrace line. This, interesting too, but it kind of reminds me of France or the New York Yankees. Two teams I don't really like or care about. Not really into baseball. Sorry. Okay. One more thing I wanted to bring up is Kone. He's been on fire. He had an excellent match against Ukraine the other day. He played the full 90 minutes. We zoom in here. He had a good rating from FOTMob. If an 80 million offer comes in, does Roma say no? I don't think so. Would I say no? Yeah, I would, because I want to see him control that gasp of midfield and be that guy. Let him get there for at least another year. Let's see what Roma can accomplish with him. I know it's that idea of like, yeah, well, what if he gets injured? Yeah, well, what if Roma don't win any more trophies for the next 5 years? What about that too? What if Roma don't qualify for the Champions League? Those are real threats. So hold on to him at least one more year. Let me see a full season of Kone under Gasparini before his sold. Please, Friedkins, please. Just asking you that if we could make that a solid. So let me know what you think, guys. I think that's it for today. Write in some comments. Let me know what you think. All that good stuff. Corny YouTube plugs. Well, I do think Pellegrini can reinvent himself. I'm going to end on that note, or at least give him a shot, and he could do a role. I think we can all agree that he can do a role. Let's see what else is going on. Any quick reminders? That's it. Italy now comes back. Next game is next month. Roma return to action with forgetting Torino, and that's going to be this Sunday. Early match, 6:30 a.m. Maybe I'll get to Roma Club New York for that before my kids wake up. Doubtful, though. Doubtful. Doubtful. But maybe if they wake up, I'll take one of them. Nah, not just yet. I got babies. Anyway, after that, it is the Derby. So just one match day after this, we've got the Derby Sunday, September 21st. That says 6:30 a.m. I doubt that's going to be that early in the day. All right, talk soon. Ciao.